I am to tell you that it is time for game number 3 between Liquid's TLO and Team Grubby's Grubby in the King of the Beta. It's going to be on Cloud Kingdom, a map that many of you know and love from Wings of Liberty, and many of you know produces some of the wackiest games as we go into the late game, but why worry about what the map is when we have these two players to do their craziness against one another for our entertainment value? In the bottom left-hand corner, he was pretty much an unknown until he went for a crazy battlecruiser nuke combination in one of the early Team Liquid Invitational tournaments. Now a member of Team Liquid, it is TLO, the little one. Up in the top right-hand corner, considered to be one of the greatest, if not the greatest, Warcraft 3 player of all time, it is Grubby. Now, Grubby's starting off with a rather unusual pylon placement, but it's going to end up being normal, throwing down one of the walling off buildings, gateway or forge, and then going pylon and walling off the remainder. But it's a nice way to freak some early Zerg scouts out. Does run into a little bit of trouble against some of those early pool openings, unless Grubby's just better than I am and knows how to plan that out. So this would, I would expect, be a gateway. And expectations are sometimes met with surprises. Forge going down, but this is a 13 or 14 forge. Very, very early forge from Grubby. And look at this. Oh, man. Mind games. TLO has been going hatch first on his stream, has gone hatch first in the first two games, and here he goes pool first. The forge first would have been an absolute devastating blow to TLO. And look at that! Oh, teases building the pylon right away. Oh man, what a nice adjustment by Grubby and an even nicer metagame read by TLO. And now Grubby is going to be forced to go Nexus, having built a forge already. Absolutely not the end of the world, but still one of those little moments where you have to have a lot of respect for TLO as a player for understanding that that is what Grubby would likely do and answering accordingly. Pairlings, a single queen. Looks like we're in the mood for a standard game. What I would love to see out of TLO, though, is some of these two base fast double gas timings. Getting the layer up quickly, getting Hydras and a Nydus network, getting Swarm Hosts and Queens and a Nydus network. All of these very strong plays that I've been seeing a lot on streams, been seeing a lot on the ladder, that I would love to see here for this final game. Right now, these two players battling for a chance to be in the semifinals, as it is in fact a round of 8 of the King of the Beta tournament. But thus far, everything is going fairly standard. The probe, is his life in vain? Is his life in vain? We select a building of Grubby's, we investigate. No, his life was well worth it. Enjoy the total death of being a bunch of robot parts. Now, once again, the first pair of threats that the Zerg must deal with, are you going for mass warp gate or are you going for fast Stargate? Fast Stargate is not really as threatening as what I would call the 10-minute round of timings. The Stargate plus mini Phoenix type of pressure, the Twilight Council Blink or Dark Templar pressure, the Robo Facility, Immortal Sentry all-in pressure, all these happen around the 10-minute mark. If none of those threats end up popping out, it will either be a Warp Gate attack that went down earlier or an expand that went down earlier. So if you're a Zerg, you keep an Overlord here, you monitor, make sure nothing's going down, and then around 7 to 8 minutes you start going, what you got going on, Protoss? You hiding something from me? Grubby already has one Zealot out, will almost certainly follow it up with a Stalker. That is the common play to perform. Chrono Boost it. Bam! Getting a single Zealot out, and that's it, is somewhat of a weak play. You should either go for tech or you should devote to aggression. Don't try to half-butt it, I say in a PG-13-esque way. TLO's now getting the double gas at 6 in a very typical time and is getting himself up his third queen. There's the Stargate play from Grubby that will be out at 7. He can Chrono Boost hard to get a unit out at 8, but he's going to have to go for the 10-minute timing if he's really in the mood to go for something like Mass Phoenix, which is likely what Grubby will do. He'll likely go for Fortified Phoenix is very strong given that they have range 5 in Heart of the Swarm. Grubby now scouting around with that Stalker down on the bottom side. We're seeing TLO establish his control of that expansion, but it's always what TLO does right around the 7-minute mark that interests me. Holy early expand, Batman. This is almost certainly going to be Oracle plus Mothership. There's really no other way to protect this as early on as we're seeing it. There's a Mothership. Is it going to be an Oracle? It's a Void Ray. A very defensive play from Grubby. Oracle can defend and offend and offend people on the forums, but you can also be offensive with it. Looks like Burrow's canceled. Started, canceled, and there's Speed Overlords going down right now. TLO's moved in a little too early, has not spotted the expansion. Zergling's heading up there right now. There's the Zergling Speed. We see 2 more Extractors. This is going to be one of these tough spots for the Zerg player. Right now, TLO's going to walk in here and realize that it's not just a third base, it's an almost done third base. Oh, a lot of cannons going down for Grubby, playing very defensively. Only just now starting a sentry, even though Warpgate research is already done. Void Ray on the high ground is killed off the Overlord, and TLO responds in kind with an instant 4th base. Another very swift Evo Chamber. And with this instant layer, I would anticipate to see Hydralisks come out of this. Swarm Host, also a very strong option versus this. There's a 13-minute timing push that's tough as hell to deal with. But the answer to those 13-minute timing pushes is this very nicely timed 8.5-minute Robo Facility. It will allow you to begin getting those Colossus and range done by about 12 to 12.5, which is exactly when you need it to deal with those Swarm Hosts. So let's see what sort of interactions there are to bring as the game proceeds. Zergling's now stepping up just to have map coverage. Single Void Ray at the front, more Void Rays being planted down. Void Rays are essentially the Roach insurance. Don't want to lose to any sort of mass ling Roach run-ins. That will help prevent that. You see Twilight Council coming in largely to allow for that +2 ground upgrade. Unlikely to see Blink. I would actually not like a Blink opening. That's a very easy way to lose to Swarm Host Hydralisk. And oh my goodness, I see that being produced. There it is. Infestation Pit going down. And we're seeing this range and Carapace upgrade. This is going to be bad news for Grubby. But where are the Hydralisks? There's still virtually no anti-air. Unless TLO is planning on going for a Nydus network with Queens, there's really no way to defend against the air. Such a smart move from Grubby to get that Robotics Bay out. It's 1 minute to finish, and then about another 1 minute for the Colossus. So indeed, 12 minutes and 13 seconds is when it's going to be popping out. 5. There it is, the Nydus network going down. Swarm Host 5 coming out. Enduring Locust being planted, and Grubby is well versed in the locations for the Nydus networks in Heart of the Swarm, ensuring that he doesn't get overrun at the front. But there's all these hidden Zerglings all around. I genuinely think Hydras are the missing piece to this puzzle. Can easily swarm in from this backside, and Colossus can really only do so much when these buildings are working against the Colossus. Now it's a single Queen against a single Void Ray, and there it is. The push begins. So many Swarm Hosts popping out. Uh-oh! Hallucinated Phoenix. Does he see it? Does he see it? Does he see it? Whoo! And it's gonna pop. It's gonna pop out. Well, there's nothing more unambiguous than the scream of the Nydus network. We're seeing Zealots engage those Zerglings straight up at the front lines, and all 5 Queens from TLO are in the mix. An excellent series of target firings by Grubby ensures that that one Nydus network falls instantly. TLO needs to swiftly plant down another Nydus network to continue the creep spread. Again in a vulnerable location. Grubby's going to be picking it off again. TLO's getting a little bit disorganized. 2 more Queens coming. A lot of Swarm Hosts coming. Drones continue to pack themselves together at the front, and there is a safely planted Nydus network. Colossus production 2 at a time. Wow, TLO's been having a nice time advancing forward, but Grubby has a solid read on his opponent now. Every Swarm Host counts. He needs to run that Swarm Host. He needs to burrow it. Oh, that Swarm Host was basically a liability. A lot of losses there. Drone count looking pretty solid for TLO, but he needs to end up getting a couple of spines and spores to the front lines. Here's the Spore Crawlers beginning to plant down. Looks like the Void Rays are going to try to engage against that Nydus network. Will Grubby lose one of these Void Rays? He will. A tragic blunder. A really unfortunate one. Zealots are making their way down to that bottom hatchery, and TLO's starting to realize, oh my gosh, I don't have anything down here to defend. These Zealots might be the key heroes in this game. Grubby wants to be able to stay in it. Right now, the push from TLO continues up at the north side. Free units in the units lost tab. Still, Grubby has the bad side of that exchange, but with these Zealots continuing to advance in, looks like some roaches. Oh, and he will take out the hatchery, and in the meantime, there was a push from the backside to try to eliminate one of the Nydus networks. It was a success, but right now, TLO's running kind of low on bases. He's lost 2. Another suicidal swarm host. There are so many swarm hosts here right now. It looks like the Mothership Core is there to fight. Not what needs to be done. Nothing but Colossus production from Grubby. He has 2, wow, 5, 6, 7 will be out on the field. A Hive now en route for TLO. It looks like his next follow-up goal is to transition into Vipers. Not so sure how this is going to pan out for him. Right now, TLO is being outranged by Colossus from below. A great choice, as Queens are essentially the only anti-air. They really need to unburrow. Nexus taking a lot of damage. Slow, immobile. Grubby taking a Nexus on the right. I mean, these Swarm hosts really have no hope to take out this right expansion. It's going to have to be Zerglings and Roaches, but TLO being really on point spotting them. Zealot Warp-ins continuing to deal damage. The Nexus with 14 kills. I've never seen a 14-kill Nexus before, but welcome to Heart of the Swarm, ladies and gentlemen. Hashtag vengeance. Nexus at 116 health. It will absolutely fall despite all the best efforts of these Colossi. One Colossus will almost fall to Spore Crawlers, but Grubby would be part of that embarrassing category. There's another Nydus network going down. TLO looks like he's going to try to deal the maximum amount of damage thus far. It's been an efficient series of trades, but the retreat upon the ejection of all those is going to be profit. Pure profit in terms of the exchange. TLO is performing brilliantly, and now just assaulting the Protoss from multiple points of view. TLO is looking very nice. Just needs an answer to Colossus. Idle workers. Oh my god. Oh my god. How many idle workers does TLO have right now? He's sitting at what? Oh, not 30. Just 8. Just 8 idle workers right now. Stalkers continue to flood the map for map control, and looks like TLO is going to get another nice warp in 23 swarm hosts, but against 9 Colossus, it's unclear who's going to come out as the leader in this exchange. Both of those Vipers now doing their best to begin consuming quickly. Grubby nearly maxed with almost no ground army other than the Colossus. Hello, I'm the Nydus Network, pleased to meet you. Ignore me, says the Nydus Network to all the Zealots. This is looking dangerous. This is just a dangerous position for TLO to be in. He's going to have to get some key abducts. But even a small counterattack of 6 Zealots might prove too much. Grubby's now moving in. The Swarm hosts continue to try to step in. There's the Blinding Clouds. He pulls one right to the front. Instantly picked off. Abduct plus Swarm host is a brutal composition. In that unit's lost tab, we're seeing that Grubby is getting just the heinous end of the deal. Has lost 2 Colossus, 2 more getting produced. Ooh, they evaporate in a matter of seconds. TLO knows exactly what he's doing, but Grubby is building almost the perfect counter unit to this. But is it going to be enough? Does the abduct at the right time? Excuse me, at the wrong time, despite the best intentions? And there it looks like the expansion will go down. But at what cost? 1 Colossus falls. Will another fall to Broodlings? Not enough. Zealot counterattack never managed to get off the ground. Stalkers patrolling all along the top sides. Observers. More Stalkers. TLO seems to have a stronger overall army value at 7,400, 4,000 versus the mere 5,000, 2,500 from Grubby. But the mobility of TLO is at an absolute standstill. Nydus Network looks like it will go down relatively soon. 3 more Vipers in production. The Locust doing a moderate job of defending against these Zealot counterattacks, but TLO is just holding steady, holding strong, not advancing out too aggressively. He knows that basically Grubby is going to be broke in his main, broke at his natural expansion, but not quite yet. It's going to be TLO with the absolute perfect army. against Grubby, who's more mobile. Can Grubby make better decisions? Grubby right now just needs to attack wherever he spots the swarm hosts or not. He sees them up here. He will engage the attempted rebuild of the third base from TLO, and it will fall. A lot of overlords are going to go down as well. Blink forward would not even be such a risky maneuver right now. There's no infestors. There's no fast unit like Zerglings. It's just a slow, steady swarm host, the Zerg siege unit. I don't know if this is the right choice for TLO, though. TLO is just banking everything on this Swarm Host army. He's decided to hit critical mass. It's the Layer Tech Broodlord Infestor, and there he is planting a last critical Nydus Worm. Will it be able to go down? No, it gets killed before it's finished. The Swarm Hosts are trying to step in. This is suddenly becoming an absolutely psycho game. TLO is going to have to expand right next to his Swarm Hosts. Grubby's expanding away. A weaker army, a more mobile army for the Protoss player. Can TLO do it? What a freaking weird game. A real danger right now for TLO is that he has a lot of Vipers. There are Templar on the field, though. Those Templar can easily throw down a couple of feedbacks, annihilate every single one of those Vipers. And the remaining one or two don't even really have any buildings to consume against. We're seeing continued siege from TLOs trying to split up these units, but Swarm Hosts don't function very well in split up pieces. Queen's advancing forward. They need to begin engaging. There is an observer right there. It does get taken out. With this continued siege TLO, I mean, the units lost tab, we're seeing massive losses for both sides, but most of TLO's losses are buildings. Right now, I mean, the army tab is looking enormous for both people, but TLO gets caught off guard! Swarm Hosts trying to run up to their allies. TLO is going to have to stay planted firmly next to all of his Swarm Hosts. All buildings, all drones. Oh no, the feedbacks. Oh my gosh, Grubby invading from all sides. The Swarm Host count. Oh no! Oh no, every single Viper has been feedbacked. And now Grubby with a gigantic Colossus army is gonna just roll over it. It's good game! Grubby advances to the semifinals in style. The Swarm Host play from TLO, innovative, brutal, not enough to take down the Protoss hero Grubby. Grubby will advance to the semifinals, representing the Protoss race well. What a win from Grubby. An incredible trade in game number 1 and 3. Lost game number 1, pulled it out when it mattered. I honestly... that was sweet. No epic outro here, just fist pumping all around for the entertainment value of that series, though the little one is out. Showcased some phenomenal play, some incredible skill, and I can't wait to see him play in Heart of the Swarm. Without any further ado, I'm Day9 signing out.